The American Civil War, fought from 1861 to 1865, was a cataclysmic event that not only reshaped the United States but also redefined its fundamental principles. This conflict was more than a battle between the North and South. It was a profound struggle over the future of a nation grappling with issues of slavery, states' rights, and national unity. This documentary delves into the origins, key battles, and enduring impact of the Civil War, offering a comprehensive exploration of one of the most transformative periods in American history. Historical context: the divided nation. By the early 19th century, the United States was a nation deeply divided along economic, cultural, and political lines. The North and South had developed distinct identities, driven by different economic systems and social structures. Economic and social differences: the North experienced rapid industrialization and urbanization. Factories, railroads, and burgeoning cities characterized its economy, which relied on wage labor and diverse industries. In contrast, the South remained predominantly agricultural, with an economy centered around cotton and other cash crops. The Southern economy relied heavily on enslaved labor, which was integral to its agricultural system and societal hierarchy. Slavery and sectional tensions: the issue of slavery was the core of the sectional divide. The northern states, influenced by growing abolitionist sentiment and moral opposition to slavery, increasingly sought to limit or abolish the practice. Meanwhile, the southern states viewed slavery as a necessary institution for their economic prosperity and social order. The debates over slavery and states' rights led to increasing polarization and conflict, setting the stage for the Civil War. Political tensions and compromises: throughout the 19th century, a series of political compromises attempted to address the issue of slavery but ultimately failed to resolve the underlying tensions. The Missouri Compromise, 1820, and the Compromise of 1850 were temporary solutions that aimed to balance the interests of free and slave states. The Kansas-Nebraska Act, 1854, and the Dred Scott Decision, 1857, further inflamed the conflict, revealing the deep divisions within the nation. The road to war: the election of Abraham Lincoln. The election of Abraham Lincoln as president in November 1860 was a turning point. Lincoln, a member of the anti-slavery Republican Party, was perceived by many Southerners as a threat to their way of life. His victory, without any electoral votes from the Southern states, underscored the sectional divide and sparked fears of federal intervention in slavery. Secession and formation of the Confederacy: in response to Lincoln's election, 7 Southern states seceded from the Union, beginning with South Carolina in December 1860. These states formed the Confederate States of America, electing Jefferson Davis as their president. The secession was justified by the belief in states' rights and the protection of slavery as a fundamental institution. The outbreak of war: Fort Sumter. The first military engagement of the Civil War occurred at Fort Sumter in Charleston Harbor, South Carolina, on April 12, 1861. Confederate forces, seeking to assert their control over federal property in the seceded states, bombarded the fort, leading to its surrender. This attack marked the beginning of open conflict and set the stage for a bloody and protracted war. Major campaigns and battles: the Eastern Theater. The Eastern Theater, primarily in Virginia and surrounding states, saw some of the war's most significant battles. Key engagements included: First Battle of Bull Run, July 1861, the first major battle of the war, which resulted in a Confederate victory and dispelled any illusions of a short conflict. The battle highlighted the war's potential for high casualties and set the tone for future engagements. Battle of Antietam, September 1862, the bloodiest single-day battle in American history, resulting in a tactical draw but a strategic Union victory. The battle led to President Lincoln issuing the Emancipation Proclamation, which declared the freedom of enslaved people in Confederate-held territories. Battle of Gettysburg, July 1863, a turning point in the war. This battle marked the Union's first major victory against General Robert E. Lee's Army of Northern Virginia. The defeat forced Lee's forces to retreat and marked a significant shift in momentum in favor of the Union. The Western Theater. The Western Theater, encompassing areas west of the Appalachian Mountains, was crucial for Union strategy. Battle of Shiloh, April 1862, an early and bloody battle in Tennessee, demonstrating the high cost of the war and the determination of both sides. Siege of Vicksburg, May-July 1863, a pivotal Union victory that gave control of the Mississippi River to the Union and effectively split the Confederacy in two. Sherman's March to the Sea, November-December 1864, General William Tecumseh Sherman's campaign through Georgia aimed to destroy the South's war-making capabilities and morale. The march, characterized by widespread destruction, culminated in the capture of Savannah. The war's end surrender at Appomattox on April 9, 1865, General Robert E. Lee, facing defeat and dwindling resources, surrendered to General Ulysses S. Grant at Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia. The terms of surrender were generous, allowing Confederate soldiers to return home with their horses and sidearms. Lee's surrender effectively marked the end of major Confederate resistance. The assassination of Lincoln. Just days after Lee's surrender, President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated by John Wilkes Booth on April 14, 1865. Lincoln's death was a profound shock to the nation and left a leadership vacuum during the critical period of Reconstruction. Reconstruction era. Rebuilding the nation. The Reconstruction era, 1865-1877, was a complex period of rebuilding and reintegration. The federal government sought to restore the southern states to the Union and address the challenges of integrating formerly enslaved people into society. Legislative changes. Significant legislative changes included: 13th Amendment, 1865, abolished slavery throughout the United States. 14th Amendment, 1868, granted citizenship and equal protection under the law to all persons born or naturalized in the U.S., including formerly enslaved people. 15th Amendment, 1870, prohibited the denial of voting rights based on race, color, or previous condition of servitude. Challenges and resistance. Despite these advancements, Reconstruction faced significant resistance in the South. White supremacist groups, such as the Ku Klux Klan, emerged to oppose the changes and intimidate African Americans and their allies. The period also saw the implementation of black codes and later Jim Crow laws, which sought to undermine the progress made during Reconstruction. Legacy of the Civil War. National unity and identity. The American Civil War had a profound impact on the nation's identity and its understanding of federalism and civil rights. The war resolved the issues of secession and slavery but left enduring questions about race, equality, and the role of government. Cultural and historical memory. The Civil War is remembered through numerous monuments, museums, and historical sites, reflecting its significance in American culture. The war's memory is preserved in reenactments, literature, and public discourse, illustrating its lasting impact on the national consciousness. Ongoing impact. The legacy of the Civil War continues to influence discussions about race, civil rights, and social justice. The struggle for equality and the quest for a more perfect union remain central themes in American history and politics. Conclusion. The American Civil War was a defining moment in U.S. history, marked by its profound and far-reaching effects on the nation. It was a conflict that tested the principles of democracy and freedom, leading to significant social, political, and economic changes. Understanding the Civil War is essential to comprehending the complexities of American history and the ongoing pursuit of equality and justice.